Good day, everyone. As you can see, it's raid time. Well, it will be raid time shortly. So, to unlock the raids, we have to complete this quest, which will the trigger to actually letting us do the quest is after it shifts from day to night on day 1 through 6. So on day 7 you'll miss it and have to wait till day 1 till you loot. However, in this case we should just be able to do a free quest and be on our merry way. Also, while off stream cleaning up free quests, we actually got a drop of Painting Summer. So we've already secured an MLB copy, even before getting the 5th copy from the ladder reward. In fact, this random drop is the entire reason I'm already not at 800k points. Although we are very close, and in fact, quite possibly we'll reach it in this very fight. We shall see. Okay, should be alright. These raids should go okay for us. The first two, well, you can do them in any order, but they are numbered 1 through 4. And the first two in particular are not particularly difficult. I intended on swapping the arts card with the quick card there, but our bugger, I forgot all the debuffs these little critters give you. That's no good. This won't counteract much, but not a lot we can do. See how bad it is. The worst part may be us just taking so bloody long to kill them. Don't risk much not killing. Boy. Wow, this is quite the predicament. Suppose with nothing else to do with this. Now, I hardly doubt that would kill, but just to be safe. Be nice if we got some crits and just killed, but it wasn't to be. Okay, next waves should go a little better for us since we have MVs. Just really hate to be so low on health with middle Robin. We pretty much just have to hope that he does enough here. It would help if he was already MP5. Unfortunately, that's not the case, but I think we've done enough. Good, good. Ash coming in clutch with the debuff resistance. I didn't realise it was apparently so high. How did that happen? We need to actually pump some damage. You can't just keep suffering hits. The Robins have too low of base health to do that even against class advantaged enemies. And also help to get more busters in general. But that's just the way it is sometimes. Okay, there's a secret. We certainly needed that. Ah, now this could go poorly for us. She does have... Yep. She blocked the poison. That is a shame. That is certainly a shame. But nothing to do but go for it regardless. So long, eggplant. Glad to see our luck with our card hands isn't getting any better. This is a rough one to shake the rust off with. Can I buy a crit? Oh, bugger. So long. And its case, we'll blow that up with an NP, and then Jordan should be able to handle the rest of Suzuka's HP. Easy as. I thought she could. Alright, she has a charm. Somehow, completely forgot about that. Oh, that might have helped a little. It'd be a very lower attack up, but it'd count for something. The level 1 class disadvantage speed down. Of course, as you can see, we have new master missions. Only gotta level up. And I was correct, we're over 800k points now. Which means we now have 6 copies of Painting Summer. Of course, I highly doubt we're going to suddenly get a bunch more drops to MLB a second copy like I did on my main. A third copy, as it were. How bizarre. But 4-star Cs can give you some mana prism to help you level other Cs pretty well. We will be using it for the latter. And now since we brought over to daytime, we have this little story quest available. And now we have some brand new raid battles available. And these are solo raids, so we get shown the total HP, and for every fight we do, we take chunks out of that, and once we reach these breakpoints, the boss will typically get more HP, about 100k more each tick, and maybe a new mechanic. So, first thing you need to know, this one, despite being one of the 2 easy raids, is this one has a particular they all have gimmicks. Some of which depend on the time of day you fight them. So this one, you want to fight her at night, because during the day she gets a resistance to all types of damage. A little passive buff. So the key to doing this is you can either do a free quest to pass the time tonight, or you can go over here to, not that one, you can go over, no, not that one either, bloody, you can go over to this one, and I ended up all the way over there. You can go to this one, which is the other easy one. They're both moon cancers. And you can do a round of this one, and then a round of this one at night, and then go back to this one in the day. And you can basically do both of them, alternate between both of them. That being said, you may find it slightly tedious, because this Sacrilege Tetrahedron 1 drops imagination. So with your bonus Cs, you need to set them up with Foxy Lady when you fight in this one, as much as you're comfortable doing while still being able to do a good number on the horse. But this one, bugger, this one drops technique. So you need painting summer. So you'll have to swap between the CE setups, which frankly isn't really that tedious, but some people complain about random things like that. And you can always just set up a second party. Now, right here is pretty much the premier unit you'd want to use against these, because she's a ruler, she's arts, so she gets full value out of painting summer. She has her own battery, so she can get her MP quickly. Luckily, it's not too difficult to find her on friends list since she's non-limited and she's a 4-star, and she seems to be a fairly popular character. Most seem to understand she's really bloody strong. Now, we need to set our party up in a way where we can get her MP turn 1 for the most efficiency here. So she's going to have 50% starting out with painting summer, and then she's got a 20% battery. So we need to come up with 30% or 29%, as it were. So here's where the bugaboo comes in. Now I could cut 20% of that out if Mash's middle skill was level 10. Unfortunately, I can't get it to 10 without a crystallized lore, which I thought I already had one of, but turns out we haven't gotten one yet on this account. So bugger. However, so she's going to charge 18% because I'm not sure if I've said this before, but going from rank 9 to 10, the increase in effectiveness of the skill, it's like getting 2 skill ups instead of 1. So it's like a double increase as opposed to a single rank increase. So she gets 1 extra percent of charge every level up, except from 9 to 10, where she gets double. So she goes from 18% to 20%. So once we can max that out, that's going to be really handy, just an on-the-spot 20% battery that we can target to anyone that also isn't involved. It's going to be very handy. And of course, this little beauty also works well with arts units, because there's a 10% charge here. Unfortunately, if you're keeping track at home, that's 70%, 18%, that's 88%, 98%. What do we need 99% at the minimum, so we're going to be 1% off. Just bugger all. However, thankfully, we have access to this little lad. Don't even have. No. We also can debate whether we remove Heracles from the party or not. He will miss a lot of bond, but we will get a lot more points. However, how is our point gain here? So 60%, 120, 150. I think there's another 60%, so that's 210. And this should be 70%, so 280% bonus, as is. What would it go to? So that's 310%. And so 320% if we slap one of these on. we might as well do that. Yeah, it will be a shame missing the bond on Heracles from these fights, but it's fine to min-max our point gain. Now, Strya also gets bonus damage against evil enemies, which is going to make her even more effective against most of these raids. Now, this boss, despite being a, well, you'll see, a demon god pillar, does not have the evil trait, despite being a demon god. Keeping demon here. So she doesn't get the bonus damage against it, unfortunately. And it is a shame we have to waste his battery on her. We won't have to as soon as we can get access to a crystallized lore, so which is nice. And give her an attack up. It's a small one, but as you can see, I've been attempting to work on skills as I'm able. Unfortunately, I was saving up, hoping to get Phoenix Blooms to get this to 6, but so we get a turn of cooldown off of it. But unfortunately, she needed feathers to get up to 9. So we may be running a wee bit low now. So we got a nice chunk of points. Really moved us up there. Oh dear, turns out the screen's been black for a bit. Hopefully it wasn't too long. Bloody OBS. Okay, so now we can go over here and just repeat on this one. However, recall that we need to switch to Foxy Lady. So we will do just that. Good, good. If only we could get Marsh to rank 10, on her second skill. The non-Ling could use his battery on himself and we'd be in good shape when it comes to his parts actually hitting. Oh, they actually hit there, funnily enough. Now, she is going to get her bonus anti-evil damage against this boss, so even with our very gimped support we have available, she should be able to very comfortably destroy this boss. And a nice chunk of points. And again, in the off chance that you're unable to finish this boss, whatever damage you do to it will remove from the total HP. So it may take a little longer, but you can get through these eventually, even if may be a bit painful for you. Oh, that's one thing I was forgetting. I always forget to cast his fish skill. It's a minor attack boost, but it does help. Also, as you can see, she regains her MP very quickly with her crits. Extremely quickly. It'd be very helpful if we could somehow squeeze out hitting a million, but I don't think it's going to work out for us because this particular raid only has like 4 rounds to it, so as you can see we're already halfway. No matter. Foxy lady. Now we get minorly interrupted by day 7, going on our little loop. Alright. Also, if you've noticed, these raid quests are only 10 AP a piece, so should be able to get through quite a bit of them without having to use apples. Sort of an unfortunate hand, but I think we'll be okay. Again, you have 15 turns, or until all 6 members of your party are taken down, to just do damage. There's certainly no shame in being unable to one-turn this thing, especially on a newer account. Incidentally, the whole going from rank 9 to rank 10 gives you the equivalent of 2 level ups as opposed to 1 in value, is equally as true for Mystic Odes as well. It's one of the big annoyances about these things, that they can heal Demon God Pillars. Now we want our arts to create, because that's the most damage we can deal. As you can see, they're also pretty good for MP, for defensive MP gain for your party. One more fight against him, and then he will. Then what happens after the health bar is completely drained? You fight a super gimped version of the boss to finish them off, and then that's when you get a copy of Jolter. 4 raids, 4 copies to be MP5. Easy as, right? Now the next 2 raids are actually going to be a bit interesting. One of them actually alternates between classes, as opposed to every fight being the same class, and the other stays one class, but it's a foreigner each time, and foreigners are only weak to alter egos and other foreigners. Now we actually have an alter ego. She's super gamped at this point, unfortunately, because her skills are unable to be leveled at all at the moment. And she's not even max level, she's 80 instead of 90. As well as being MP1. However, thankfully, Astraea gets her bonus damage against the boss again. While it won't be as bursty, quite as insane damage as what she's doing against Sashoyan here, she will be doing class advantage damage, at least with her MP. If Astraea had already gotten her MP upgrade, which still amuses me that she's got one on the way, but if she already had that, these would be even more laughable for her to do. She would absolutely destroy them. Well, she already is, but you'd see those really flashy damage numbers. I think, yeah, she'll have one more round. So we just scoot back over here, and our penultimate fight against this particular demon god pillar. We may even take a minor detour after finishing this particular fight. Well, this and the other fight. Just to finish hitting 1 million for our technique points ladder, so we can go ahead and rank 10 Marsh's second skill, just because of how valuable that's going to be for us. It's amusing how consistently the crit strength is landing on it, and not the crit star drop rate. Because really the crit strength one is the one we want to drop of the two that are chance based. Because that's actually going to affect her damage. Whereas her immediate damage rather, as opposed to future damage with stars and crits. Oh, there's something was wonky. Wait a minute. Incidentally, I don't think I've talked about this before, but notice the crit star distribution. If you use an ability like this one that uses stars as a cost, or a skill like this one which generates stars for that very turn, or a ability like this that increases or decreases star gather rates, or manipulates them in any way, then it will reshuffle and redistribute the crit stars. So as you can see now, we have guaranteed crit on our arts here, and a 10% better crit rate on this particular buster. So that's pretty fortuitous. Leading with the buster just to get the extra damage on the last arts crit, as well as the extra attack. Good old Brave Chain. Just what the doctor ordered. Now we're less than 42,400 points away from reaching 1 million and our crystallized law. So I think we'll make a little detour and do just that after finishing these two off. Important note about her MP is that it pierces them bomb. So, unless you have guts, you're kind of up a certain creek. As they say. Of course, that's if she manages to get in the tackle. And if you don't have any drain abilities to use against her, if you have Tamamo will drain one of the charges while buffing your team's MP strength, which is pretty lovely little interaction. Of course, since I'm having to use Australia, we don't have access to Tamamo. We've almost got an MLB copy of, or 5th copy of Foxed Lady secured as well. Now it and Watershine are quite a bit less valuable or useful generally than Painting Summer is. However, it's 3 5-star CEs. MLB copies, that's nothing to really sneeze at. And when you're just starting out on an account, you kind of take what you can get. And they're certainly solid in that regard. Also, Watershine does have its uses because it has Sure Hit, and Sure Hit can come in very handy against forces you will encounter that love to spam their evades. Now these final fights here to finish them off, not only will they be super gimped, but they no longer drop any points. They will drop I think it's a set of 5 of a particular material type, depending on which boss it is. So no need to bother with your C's. Just go and smack the boss around a bit. It's a bit laughable how weak they are now, as you can see. They are around 56,000 to 60,000 HP. Keep an eye on this Buster crit here. Because there's, yeah. MPs are overrated anyway. Now we have a master level up. And we have more of these, which aren't... I think I've already went over this particular enhancement material. It's not used by that very many servants, but you might happen to stumble across one that needs them. So it's certainly not a bad thing to have them. And just like that, make very sure that you're using the one you've actually leveled again as the base. But should be pretty obvious, especially if you've been proper about leveling it, because her card art will be different if she's fully ascended like she ought to be. And now she gets a big upgrade from MP1 to 2. Again, make sure to double check here, make sure that the target is the one you've put effort into raising. Because again, this is her rerun, so if you muck up and somehow feed this copy into one of the non-ascended ones, they're going to be stuck at level 40 for you until for more than 2 years from now. I can tell you that, because Summer Jolter does not have a main interlude to this point in Japan, so she's completely unavailable after this point until they add that, which again will be years from now and counting, because again they've not added it yet. And again, you'll get a copy of it for each of these 4 raids you do. Speaking of, I'm not entirely certain what she was doing there, what that skill would have done. All 3 landed. On the one fight, it's the absolute most useless on getting them all. With that buster crit, I want to see her do it again. Those are handy because I'm pretty sure we have someone that needs them. They probably need more than 5, but it's a start. It is definitely a start. So now we have MP3 Jolter, and we're halfway through the raids. Not even an issue yet. Because again, those were the easiest raids based on what I readily have available. However, raid number 3 is an interesting one because it alternates between, well, it starts stage 1 and 2, the first 2 stages. I think it's, no, that's 4. The first 2 stages is against an alter ego version of Summer BB. Now, alter ego, just to remind you, they're weak to foreigners. I mean, they're strong against foreigners and Rider, Caster, and Assassin. And then they do half damage to Saber, Archer, and Lancer. However, the only class that gets bonus damage against them is Berserkers. Meaning, it's time to break out a mate's or your own Jolter or some other strong single target berserker. Unfortunately, we don't have any decent buster support leveled and ready to go, so it could be a bit sketchy, but we will see. And then the other fight, no, bugger. The other fight, the fourth and final raid, is against Summer BB as a foreigner, which of course foreigners are only weak against other foreigners and alter egos. Now luckily, there just so happens to be a very lovely arts foreigner single target available right now, but at the moment she's unfortunately on a mixed raid up with Summerfort. However, well, as you see, it's after the time gate passes. It will be a solo BB with Summer Mev. Raid up for I think it's 2 days, 2 or 3 days, probably 2. And then it will switch to where she's rated up. So that's when you want to wait for if you happen to take a shine to her, which I really like her a lot. And honestly, I am quite tempted to roll for her, but well, we'll see if I take the notion to, because the current plan was just saving the rest of these rolls to see if we get a luck sack of Maryland or something for kicks and giggles. But that's next event. I'm not particularly married to the idea regardless. I'm actually not certain which raid I would want to. Well, first off, what kind of support do we actually have available? Hans, but Hans doesn't really give you immediate support. Unfortunately, Chan doesn't get his buster up until he's this third ascension, which, wait a minute. Do we even have the mass to ascend him? No, didn't think so. That's why I hadn't been working on it. Now, there is, however, Shakespeare, whose buster up is available to the level, even from 1. However, as you can see, we don't have the caster gems to even get him to rank 3, or the pain. Unfortunately, they aren't available from the event shop. The only cavalry class who has any gems available is Assassin. Yeah, as you can see, because then it goes to the night classes. Incidentally, and grab 2 more of these. We've been working on grabbing what we can of the shop mats as we go through these free quest. To the point, we're almost done with the immediate needs, because we don't really have any need for these at the moment, so I'm prioritizing once we grab these. Any more BB tickets will go towards skill gems. Ditto for these foxy bills, fluffy bills, that's what they are. So once we get the Lanugo, we will move on down and start grabbing red gems. Now, which class to focus on first? That's certainly a question. And of course, when it comes to guild bills, we need to finish off these as well as this before moving to the blue gems. On this account, though, this account's actually going to have an easier time getting bills and cleaning the shop out, just because I have some of the summoning banner craft essences that increase bill drops, which is pretty funny. Speaking of grinding things out, we have 42,400 points to attempt to acquire, so we will do so. We will attempt to do so. Wait a minute. What's happening right now? Oh, that's what's happening. Okay, back to this. And we will need all the copies of Painting Summer we can acquire. Where is... And then we should be able to swap out to that. Yes. Okay. Is that what I... Yeah. Okay. Now this will have less drops than the level 90 quest, of course, but again we only need 42k to hit a million. It's times like this I really wish we had access to Anniversary Blonde. Oh bugger, I forgot these annoying fights. These bloody starfish with their debuffs. They bring the big sad. Might have been better to put Artoria's Buster in the middle. Oh, no, it's fine. At least it's not AoE debuffs like the others were doing. It's frustrating though. Just imagine, he'd be at 50% if we had our law already. If only. If only. Cards, please. You make me sad. Do I want to? Could have gotten an MP there, but doesn't particularly matter. Okay, we finally have some bloody damage. We were starting to get concerned there. It was our so long, fair eggplant. Why do we have you next? Oops. Oh well, this is a damage up, isn't it? What is that level 1 damage up? I am actually curious now. That's 10% attack up. Amusingly enough, there are some units who at max rank will give you 12% max up for their charisma with no other effects. Looking at you, Lolter, Saber Alter. It's very sad. I think it's charisma D. A D. Is it D or is it E? Oh, it's going to bug me now. Yeah, it's charisma E. Salter, Lolter, Gawain, and the enemy Jolter, the enemy ruler Jolter, the Morleans, all have charisma E. Interesting. So long, fair banana. Ah, it's Anna. Little Medusa Lily. What am I doing? Heracles is busted, but alright, we'll see if we can get his MP finally. If the fight goes that long, of course. Okay, it definitely will. Ouch. That's quite a painful wound. It's going to take like a million mummy kisses to make it better. That's half of all we needed. Roughly. I'm starting to get concerned that the other two lesser versions of this node won't give us enough combined. That would be quite frustrating. So do be prepared, because that's exactly what's going to happen. I can already envision lawful servants. Gildas. Okay. Oh. Okay. No, we definitely won't. We definitely won't. All the points we can get, so making an event 7 will probably be a boon to us. Incidentally, as soon as we hit 1 million, we can also go ahead and MLB painting summer. There's no reason not to at this point. Well, unless you want to spread it around your support list a bit. I suppose that's a reason. But generally, we'll pass on doing that. So long, fair chicken. Oi. You know, I get the distinct impression they don't particularly care for Heracles. Just a suspicion I have. I've no way of being certain. It's probably just my imagination. Wait, that was a crit. How little damage were you going to do, March? Hey. Crit stance. 12 crit stance. I'm starting to become curious. Just what is... I mean, your attack is not spectacular, but I feel like it's a bit higher than the damage that he actually does on his face card. I feel like he does less damage with his normal attacks than It is rather low. Suppose it's fair enough. Wonder if I'll ever max his skills out. His mats are a bit nearby. Let's see. He'll take 36 hero proofs per skill. And then, so he also takes 48 stingers per skill. And I'm not certain we've actually seen well, no, we got like 10 stingers from point ladders this event. I remember now. We can double MP. I think, yeah. Almost doubted myself there for a second. Almost. So I'll be doing that now. Sure. Doesn't matter, the MP should do the deed. Should. Being the opportune word here. Loose the arrows. Oh, there's a little bit of, guess we could call it trivia. A little bit of historical knowledge, I suppose. So, in films, you ever see you ever notice how sometimes they will say it's an historical or even fantasy film with archer combat, and they have the archers line up, they draw their bows, and then the commander's like, fire! Like, wait a minute. Oh dear. Oh dear. We're definitely not going to get enough in this last fight. We may do that fight over again. We need one more lawful servant anyway. And I'm not certain. Spartacus isn't lawful. No. Yeah, we're going to do that fight one more time. Because for weekly mission we need one more lawful servant. And there's no bloody way this one's going to give us enough to hit our goal. Sadly. Oh well. Easy fight. Easy life. Okay, where was I? So, certain action flicks will have a mistake where they say fire even though they're archers, when the correct word would be loose, as in loose your arrows. Now the reason for this is because the whole point of how saying fire came about was gunpowder. Bows don't use gunpowder. Bows predate all that. So they would have said loose. So when it comes to fire, it's because, well, you had, remember the old guns, they had the little notches where you'd pour some gunpowder in, then you had to light the wick to set it off to actually shoot the bloody thing. So when they say fire, it's almost like light the cannon fuse, if you will. So there's a call for fire, and then over time it developed into pull the trigger, so to speak. But regardless, it doesn't make sense to use it when referring to bows. This is some strange gun bow in a sort of fantasy style universe. Like Monster Hunter, despite it being bow guns, they would correctly say fire, but in contrast with the bow, it would be loose. There's some more irrelevant information that you'll never use in your daily life. Do enjoy. That is a very unfortunate hand. Oh well. It doesn't take much to kill one of these little buggers. They'd have 10k health. Can we not? It's all the same to you. Is there any chance he's not going to just do this just to be safe? Luckily they don't inflict him with MP gain down, so he was actually able to get enough charge there. You're joking. Incidentally, these starfish are where you normally get the stingers from. They start becoming more common enemy type in Babylonia, which is generally where you have to go to farm the bloody things when an event's not going on, and you really have a pressing need for them. No, we have MP gain down, so we might as well not risk it. She very much doesn't like Marsh. This opening for a lovely Heracles spook sometime. Or, nah, actually I think I'd just grab it off of a ticket next time we get one of those. Isn't that a beautiful number? We're all done with one of the 3-point ladders. So, just 2 more to worry about.
今年も折り返しが小さなことからコツコツとですね。
And then this one will easily complete as soon as we tackle some random free quest that gives guild bills. Let's say, well, first off, let's get this over with. So now we have a targetable 20% battery that's also a 110 involved at our disposal. Which is a very lovely thing. So which one do we want to challenge? Guess we'll give this a go. Now, we're going to give this the old best shot. So, as one might expect when it comes to point drops, this one needs water shine because it drops motivation. We even have a backup jolter to do some damage, considerably less damage rather, mind you, but we do what we must. It's really unfortunate that actually no, there's no reason slotting Shakespearean as opposed to Lon Ling, even for the what is level 1 Buster buff. Level 1 he gives 20% Buster. Right. Whereas Lon Ling will give us, well, he will give us a small attack up. Attack up is rank 2, so it's 11%. bugger. But can potentially give us some crit damage. Of course, we, unlike Australia, we don't have a battery. Longling is pretty worthless to us here. So yeah, I guess we will swap in Shakespeare as opposed to Longling. Because he'll give us an extra 9% damage up as opposed to the 11% back. Where are we? There he is. Oh! If only we had another copy of Watershine, we could slot that in. We don't. Let's see how it goes. I'm actually not certain how well Jolter will burst her down here. I can't remember how I set this up on my main last year. She has a crit up, so it's going to be a mess if we're not careful. There's no need to waste a turn of her evade. And this will give us another multiplicative damage with the MP strength up. Finally got a use out of this skill. Okay, let's see how it goes. Come on, Jolter. Don't fail us now. We can't hold her too much against her whatever damage she does, because this is a super Gamp setup. Alright, now we just do the classic Zerg rush down, as it were, and just see your Berserker card, press the Berserker card. We do have a time limit though. Which is RNP, of course. Speaking of, bloody mash. I'm going to attempt to reshuffle here. No, mash still took most of it. That's a bloody shame. So in this case, I think the Buster Chain bonus will outweigh the quick card overall. Oh, bugger. I don't think we're going to have another turn of evade, are we? Maybe. She may pierce evade regardless. This is yet another case where we just have to pray the Buster Brave Chain is kind to us. Not Brave Chain, but Buster Chain. Crit would have been invaluable there. Let's hope she doesn't have like sure hit or pierce involved. Oh, wait. She just does her extra attack. She just does her extra. Wait a minute. The wiki and they could really stand to make a note of that on the wiki. I strongly feel they should do that. There's no way Robin's getting his MP, so bugger. It was a waste regardless. Okay, I think we've got a just about licked now. So they weren't too bad, it was just a bit tedious compared to the others. But that's what you have to do sometimes. We're way behind on these, but we will get a good chunk from this particular raid. Now, if you'll recall, I said this raid is a bit different from the other three in that she doesn't stay the same class the entire way through. In fact, she's not even who you're fighting all the way through. So that fight she had 350k HP and she was an alter ego. Well, now she gets 100k more HP. And it's still an alter ego. Oh, bugger. I forgot about that. Change of plans on we're going to pivot. Where's Lonling? Let's get him back in here. Come, lad. So the reason we're doing this is because she gets a passive effect during this particular section of the raid. Well, it's a skill she can cast that makes buster damage do 0 to herself, and it lasts for 5 turns. Now, it is removable, it's not permanent, but again, if you're a fresh account starting out, you likely don't have reliable sources of buff removal on enemies. So we're pivoting back to arts, which frankly is probably what we should have done to begin with, because she's going to get her anti-evil buff against Pele here. And we're going to get double value out of our fair stability for our Mystico. Unfortunately, from this point forward, the raid boss will be Anastasia instead, who's a caster. Did she just get a bloody evade? Oh no, buster damage. Okay, it's a chance to reduce buster attack damage to 0. Now, luckily, if you'll recall, now that we have tier eggplants, second skill, fully leveled up proper, we no longer need to use Lodling's battery on Australia and can instead use it on himself to ensure the buffs land. It's quite beautiful, quite beautiful. Okay, let's see how this goes. I forgot to use Long's fair skill, didn't I? Bugger. Alright, that's a thing she can do. She can pigify. It would have been very much bad if it landed on Australia. There's no bloody way that bastard would land, so let's hope this kills. I do have doubts because now we don't have really big answer. Or the crit though. Oh bugger. That came out of nowhere. Oh, this is quite unfortunate. Lucky do you think? Well, we have. Okay, we might be safe. We have a quick path, but I'm curious if either of these bastards will land. Okay. I wouldn't exactly call it smooth, but he got the job done. Now, the interesting thing is, from this point on, the enemy class is a caster, so the best thing you could do is a nice single target rider, damage wise. However, let me think. And I think we'll do just that. With welfare Yoma. Well, you Yoma. Why is my list all shuffled up? What are you doing, game? I need to switch that with. Okay. So Yorma is a rider, a single target arts rider. He's a welfare. Unfortunately, both the original version of his event and the rerun have already passed. In fact, the rerun was just earlier this year. A few months ago. But Ushi will add damage if she's MP5 and has her proper upgrades. So you're still okay in that regard. It's just, again, it's easier to come for it's easier to come up with support for arts as opposed to quick. Also, in this particular fight, you want to make sure you fight her during the day, because she will debuff your entire front line with an arts down, a quick down, and a buster down. That's pretty substantial, but it's supposed to only trigger at night. And it's a substantial debuff as well, it's 50%, so you will literally do half damage to her with all of your stuff. Luckily, we have a nice easy road over here. What kind of tickets do we use from? Okay. The BB tickets. So, we'll do that. We'll switch to this. And now, we just go through and try to grab. Okay, these are BB tickets. BB. We want all those BB bills that we can get, because we don't need points anymore. In fact, that reminds me. Recall we have an extra one here. Alright. Now let's grab some other little random goodies to throw into it. Level 15. Again, it's, the only downside to this CE is its mixed stars, which is a bloody shame, but it's just something we have to live with. It's really nice to have this. This is just a very good CE for all those arts units that we will stumble across. Now, this is the rerun of this event, so if you happen to really like the artwork of any of these pictures, any of these, or just want to keep them for sort of collector's sake, then I definitely recommend just locking them, well, keeping them. But I already have the ones I actually like on my main, and there's no reason to take up space on the alt here. Also, remember to be careful not to use any craft essences that are used in the event that you still need when you're strengthening your stuff. I think we will throw one of these batteries on. Bombs. One of these mini bombs. We don't have to go too insane with it. I'm actually curious what would happen if we did this one. 87. I think we'll do that. It's a solid 500 attack. It's not really there we go. If it was a full attack CE one, that we would get more value out of actually taking as high levels we possibly could. I'd be a little more anal about getting the most returns out of that leveling. But that isn't the case here. Incidentally, I'm going to go ahead and make use of this in our general support list. And I'm going to give her Painting Summer because this is going to be a much better craft essence for her than this generic one that basically is only giving a 50% starting MP. It actually works with Ushi quite a bit better because generally her MP, since she's a 3 star, is most of what you're focusing on, getting it as quickly as possible. And it already does really good damage, so boosting that already amazing damage by a further 10% this really adds up. But here's the big one, Star Gather Rate. Ushi's a quick unit, so she makes a lot of stars. Not as much as you would probably assume as a quick unit, but she does make stars, fairly enough. So that just helps her face cards even more by making her crit. So that generic 50% starting MP is a lot more solid on her than it is Raidening, because Raidening can loop easier with this, and she mostly uses her arts cards anyway, so they will get a constant boost. Just all around the lovely stuff. And 4 gears what to put on horns here. Higher. So, giving your supports, unless you need their NP quickly, giving your supports passive star gen craft essences can often be a good plan if you don't have anything very specific you need out of them for a particular battle. However, with Hans, a lot of his support comes from his MP, so it's one that you do want to get quickly. So something that, like passive MP gen or starting MP, something that will get him up there quickly, can be useful. Actually not certain which would be better to put on. Probably this one, truth be told. But then Lon Ling's MP is also pretty nice. Oh well, this is fine for now. Make sure to do that. Now, where were we? Oh, we were about to do this. Good. Should be getting Well, this is the lowest difficulty version of this node, so the drop isn't going to be particularly spectacular, unfortunately, but even boosting that is pretty nice.
戦闘です。マスター、指示を。ステータス。頑張ります。
Is where we overthink things again, despite this being a mind-numbingly easy fight.
したり。あらよ。そうだ。したり。トーンときたよ。あらよ。
Welcome, Spartacus.
了解です。トーンときたよ。やー。ちょこざいな。
Spartacus' animations always amuse me.
ひょんなものだ。トーンときたよ。ちょこざいな。
There we go. They're crits. We enjoy those. We enjoy the crits on our end. Quite so much for the enemy's end. Okay, okay. Some level of tickets. Or we can also stop worrying about, at least on nodes that drop technique points. We don't have to worry about using event servants because it only affects the point drops themselves. As you can see, we only have 4 more loops, or 4 more day 7s to having all of these little collectible CEs as well. It should be pretty easy to get all of them with a minimal amount of grinding, as long as you're just, or as long as you're planning on completing your point ladder, you should do it easy as. Okay, we were on this one. And we were about to love you, Mordred, but unfortunately, your AoE, we need single target at the moment. This is the one that drops, yes. Okay. Let us proceed. Now, Yoma doesn't have a 20% self-battery like Australia does, so we will once again have to use Von Lean's. Battery on on him. I also haven't leveled his skills because when I use a single target rider, it's always Ushi or Maid Alter. Or just a bloody berserker, honestly. So very minor buffs he will give himself. They help a bit.
いかがでしょうか。行きましょう。お嬢さん、行くとしますか。はいよ。
I just have to hope for some really nice damage. That was a lot more pedestrian than I expected. Actually quite disappointed in that. I think we'll try Ushi after this. Ushi will get nothing from all this art up, but I am curious. Oh no, it is bugger. Wow. Oh, I did it again. Why do I do things? Why do I do things? Might as well get as much damage out of him as we can. So if he can't beat this, we may just have to switch back to Jorto. Anastasia is an interesting unit. Like, her issue is well, as you can tell, her damage is super low. She's in dire need of an upgraded NP. And they keep giving her interludes, but not giving her any buffs. It is bizarre. And I really don't understand what the issue is with her. Why they won't give her a well-deserved buff. It's like she's a popular character. Like, people really get upset every time they go along and give her an interlude with no buff attached. So really odd, really odd. That crit probably saved a bacon there for this turn at least. No, I think we would have been alright, considering that damage. Really disappointed in how much he did, or how little he did rather. Definitely wants to try Ushi now. Where's precious little Ushi? Oh, now she doesn't have... Now Ushi doesn't have a battery at all. So Mash will give 18. So that'd be 28 with the crafters. Oh, the Mystico. That's just 78. Yeah. We just don't have enough. If I give a painting summer, that is. $469. Okay. I can give a craft essence that juices up. Wait a minute. Made alter is also an option, but I wonder if Ushi will add damage hurt in MP1. Should, since Ushi's MP5 with an upgraded MP. Oh well, guess we'll find out. Guess we'll find out. Oh, I forgot. Right. Bugger. Bugger. My apologies, I forgot about the way it does that during the night. That's frustrating. Okay, let's find us a fair store. Let's spend these tickets. Okay. Saber, Archer, so, Archer or Lancer? With Archer, well, we need some homunculi babies. Oh, I bet that. I guess it wouldn't hurt to level that up. Since that's there, that will help everyone in the party. Okay, Lancer. We'll grab, we'll start grabbing stuff working on Lancer gems for the moment. I think that means we can already, yeah, we can already do this. We definitely want to take this to 10 as soon as possible. Also, I'm a cry. Welcome to Bronze Mats, everyone. Welcome to Bronze Mats. Oh well. Luckily, that takes us to 9, and then all it takes is a law to get him to 10. As for other stuff, we'll work on disengage, because it's important to be able to cleanse debuffs, and it's a nice heal. The cooldown on his guts is generally long enough that it can be difficult to get a second use out of it, even at rank 10. However, it does become higher priority, or they're all high priority, but this is obviously the king, and then I would personally say probably this one next, at least until the buff comes, and then this one would probably be second, but the buff's a long way away. The buff that he really didn't need. It's already one of the best units in the entire bloody game. DWY. DW, what are you doing? Okay, so I guess we'll work on guild bills. So let me find us a good place to actually grind them. A convenient place, rather. Okay, Diamond Head gives them, but it also drops technique points, which we don't need. So if it isn't clear, I should have said this before, but I suppose I figured it would be fairly apparent that each free quest, there will be a free quest for every combination of points and bill. So there are 9 free quests. So there's a combination with technique and guild bill, technique and fluffy bill, and technique and BB bill. And then there are nodes with imagination and fluffy bill, imagination and guild bill, imagination and BB bill, and the same for motivation. So whatever you need to grind, there's going to be a node for it, for the exact combination that's most valuable to you. Now, the type of enemy you'd be fighting on the node may or may not be easily dealt with, depending on how your account is set up. But there you go. I think Diamond is... well, no, because again that's technique. So sabers or berserkers essentially is what we can go against. And I'm thinking berserkers. It's probably the better one. We'll do this. Okay. Unfortunately, this craft essence won't help us in the slightest. This drops imagination with the guild bills, so we need something that can quickly deal with well, Foxy Lady's the craft essence we need. Say Mordred's fine. I don't suppose there's any way we can squeeze in. Okay, we can. That's good. It's not the most impressive buff to build drop, but we do need to focus the points at this point because we've already passed the raid that drops the most of them. The final raid, of course, will drop all three, but obviously a smaller amount of each than the ones that are focused on them, as one might expect. Okay, let's give it a go. Hopefully we can get Mordred's MP pretty quickly so she can blow up the wave. A wave. Ah, right. These buggers with the sure hit. Oh, that's so close. Oh yeah, I'd already grailed her to 100. I've actually not mathed out because current plan is, well, providing we get a starter at all, and hopefully at a decent MP rank, to take her to 100 just in case, to solve all our future farming needs for the most part. Theoretically. Again, providing we can get what we want next year as well. Good deal. I think I've said this before, but get used to these enemy types. You're going to be seeing a lot of them in America, so do look forward to that. Actually surprised Mordred, so well, no, not. That's the first bit of MP game we've given her this entire bloody time. Oi, enough of that. Well, Nash, it's time to say goodnight. It seems. You will be missed. Oi, that's cheating. Stop cheating. So it's supposed to end after the taunter dies. Weasel. I do hate to waste 30% bounce rate, but this is probably a mistake because Heracles doesn't have his MP. We shall see, though. Oh, definitely a mistake. It's important to take out these small fry bears because they can sure hit. dear. That could have been goodbye. Do I give her please MP damage? No. We'll give it to Mordred next turn. Because she should be able to take out the mold at the very least. Okay. This was much airier than it had any right to be, but I think we're on free at this point. I hope. Gilville. There's just 3 more save boards to throw away here in a few days, potentially on the double X banner. And we just need right at about 200k more of these particular points to finish out that ladder. Not sure how I came out with 5. Of all random numbers, 5 excess fragments. I do know. I don't understand. I also didn't mean to do that. Oops. Okay, event shot. Now, we're also going to clear this out, but I'm prioritizing these just want to get Ku out as quickly as I can. Really lucky to get a crit here, but we didn't. It is a shame. It's a shame. Do we even have the mats to ascend him, provided? Oh, that's lucky. After spending 5 of them on Mash. So, we almost do. Almost. Now, let's see if dear Ushi can do a number on you, love. It should be okay, because this craft essence, unlike the others, is 60% starting in B. So 60 from there, another 20 from here, that's 80%. And then this gives like 14%, and then 10% from the craft essence. Oh, from the Mystic Ode, rather. Alright, Ushi, let's see if you can out-damage Ryoma despite him getting actual value off Evolve the arse up.
顔を上げなさい。指示を。
Yes, we want to. Now the good news is her little increases here will actually matter. I'm looking forward. This will get a buff in the future. It will become. I think it will gain an extra 4% attack up at rank 10, as opposed to what its rank 10 would be now, and also provides crit damage up for her and a crit battery. I think it generates 20 stars just instantly, which is really lovely. And that would further increase star drop rate, but I'd rather not waste the evade just yet. Okay, they all landed it anyway. That is use. Okay, remember, use his bloody attack up. All she benefits from there is the MP strength up, which isn't the best, but do we want to give her a little bit more damage on a quick card, or see if we can't get us some MP refund? It won't be much. It's obviously not going to affect her MP, but we'll see how it goes. I mean, by all means, keep attacking Uchi, please. You amuse me greatly. I'm actually going to do this just for kicks and giggles to improve Ash's MP game. Come on, crit. Okay, okay. Good, good. There's a chance. There is a chance that we can actually. She has sure hit, so want this any good to evade. She can also cast a Pierce Invuln on herself as well, so she is double anti-evade. So she gets about 20,000 more damage out of her. She's stunned Uchi, bugger. Ushi's liable to die here anyway, because of her low health. She survived. She's just stunned and skill sealed. Bugger all. Let's hope. Come on. The absolute worst one to get all the cards. The one that can't do any bloody damage. What are you actually doing, Jimmy? Alright. That is pretty amusing. Yeah, Anastasia doesn't play around. At least the attack didn't went off. Oh, come on. We're so close. The evade? Are you joking? She can't hit. Well, hold on. Oh, arse attack. Interesting. She also doesn't have sure hits anymore. Good thing 3 of these hits aren't going to be arts, love. So much for the evade. So yeah, reminder, she's getting a great deal less out of the buffs, the team's buffs, than what Yoma had, and she did comparable MP damage to him, despite being a lowly 3-star. So if she was like even grailed to 80, she would have outdone him by quite a bit. Also, I wasn't expecting a level up, but I'm certainly not going to complain. We can now officially knock over this boss and be done with her. And it's only right to let Ushi do the deed. It's going to be really nice when I... well, technically I could do it right now, but I've leveled so many skills on my main recently that I'm running quite low on laws. And with Lambda, she's an amazing unit, one of the absolute peak AoE lancers in the game. However, she only becomes that when her skills are maxed out. She's certain units, it is very vital. Like, there's a huge difference in the performance depending on how, if you've got the skills maxed out or not. And she's one of those that's very reliant on having high skill ranks. Be nice if we got her animation update early, but I highly doubt we will. It wasn't some spatial event like a movie or anime release. It was just a regular event, a New Year's event actually. So I suppose we'll have to wait. Some nice divine wine. And now we are down to our last raid The very last one against foreigner BB. Now, this can be a tricky one because she starts instant charging her MP and giving herself invulnerability pierce. Invuln pierce. So you can't protect yourself from her AoE MP. So basically she's going to wipe your team every time she uses her MP. So it's very important, even more than the other raids, to really be quick in dealing with her. Now, she's a foreigner, which means she's weak to other foreigners and alter egos. Now, unfortunately, I tested out my Cedar on this alt account, Cedar with better support than is available on this account, and she could not quite comfortably one turn even this initial lower HP variant of her, which is, as I said, quite unfortunate. However, there is a shining beacon of hope available, who is named Astraea, who, while not getting class advantage, will still get the evil buff, the anti-evil buff on an MP. And a reminder, this raid drops all 3 of the points in equal amounts, meaning you can really decide which points you want to focus on. We obviously don't need technique, so extra copies of Painting Summer would be wasteful for us. So we can work on imagination or motivation, which probably go with motivation, which again is water shine, purely because there's no way. Yeah, heavy 6. Let me make sure that I'm not forgetting any better weight until day and night getting it. She will give your party a defense debuff, but it's during days 1 through 3, So it can be a bit of an annoying one to skip. Good news is we have a lovely brave chain from the available this turn. It's always very helpful to acquire. I remembered his fierce skill this time also, since we're using Astraea and she has enough battery herself, we can guarantee the buffs from modeling. If anyone needs to make use of this Astraea, by the way, let me know. If you're having issues with some of these raids, but again, she shouldn't be too difficult to find on Friends List. As you see, it's not a great amount each time, but it does help a bit. Now this go around, she will give the entire party NP gain down. Which can be annoying if you need to loop your MP. Another brave chain with double buster. See red, press red. For the moment. There's no real reason to, but just to have it, trying to cast everyone's skills one at a time. As in, we'll cast all the skills we want to cast from March at once and we'll move on to the next one. I'm doing this one first just because I keep bloody forgetting it. No MP refund this time for bloody certain. Also, that lovely 70% crit miss. I saw that. Make me sad. Really needed that crit as well.
しますの？任せなさい。ふっ。光よ。こうかしら。
Joke's on you, we got AMP back anyway.
さあ、受けます。我がそうしますの。
I have to sequence properly, even if it's unneeded.
あなたの罪を計りましょう。我が宝石庫はこの夜空。あなたの罪はこの星の数。くっ、なんじゃないですか。我が主、いかがでしたか。さあ、勝ち時をあげよう。
We're getting there. Of course, now things get... That's not what I wanted to click on. Oops. Now things start getting more hairy because she's going to NP immediately. And I'm pretty sure her NP pierces involved. I distinctly remember why. Never mind. I could have sworn her MP pierces involved. Oh, it does because she starts casting herself at skill. It does so. Right, so it does pierce involved. It just doesn't pierce involved when you use it. Which, you know, that's fair. The real unfortunate thing is, Jolter, as our backup damage dealer, is worthless here because foreigners. Yeah, foreigner. So it really is Stryo or bust. But hopefully we get lucky and we can survive. I'm just hoping we get a bloody crit. We actually gave ourselves a fair amount of defense up. I think I'm going to risk the reroll. Okay. We should have done that one first. I'm an actual moron. Actually a moron. Do as I say, don't not as I do in this regard. We could have done that a lot safer, because either way we were going to get a reroll. Alright, love. Wait, aren't you supposed to buff yourself with Pierce Invuln? have several questions. Alright, well that was just that's just unfortunate. I'm going to do this just for the game. Damage wise, we're getting nothing done this turn. That was very not very nice. I promise I can worse sometimes. Okay. Sure would be nice to have that art star weight up at this point. Oh well. Yeah, there's... okay, so... she just chose not to cast it for some reason. Wait a minute. How are you still alive? She should be doing double damage to you. Oh, I am in confusion. I'm in deep confusion right now. Oh. Sure would have liked that 80% arts crit. So long, young banana. Her damage must be abysmal. She should have melted Jolter. How bizarre. So that went so slowly, purely because of really dreadful luck. Really bizarrely dreadful luck. Our card orders were just very sad. So we're over 800,000 for the remaining 2 point totals, so we need less than 200k apiece. And we have 10 days to get them. Oh wow, we just got over 800k on that one. So I believe we can do it in 10 days. I think so. Probably. And it should be very similar to the last fight. She just has 100k more health. Okay. Well, the good news is we should actually get some good MP refund off of this. I hope. Just about wasted that battery on there. That would have been the big sad. Good, good. That's what we like to see. Guaranteed crits. I should really probably start doing command codes on her. She's obviously going to be a unit I use a lot. It is way past time I delve into learning how to properly
我が転送しま
make
す
good
飛ば
use
しますわよ
of those.
あなたの罪を計りましょう我が宝石庫はこの夜空あなたの罪はこの星の数
It's just a lot easier once we get the update, which
打撃戦の用意はよくて
okay, she's pretty much looped,
残酷に落としてあげる
and she didn't cast her invuln pierce.
被弾したエゴの末路ファーストカッティングクレイター
I'm glad she's being a big dumb. Otherwise, this might actually be concerned. Oh, she drains MP. Gauge, interesting. I forgot she did that. Didn't really do any good, but
修羅になるわ
it is something she can do, apparently.
受けます
Increase the damage a bit.
任せなさいファイヤーあなたの罪を計りましょう
This
我が宝
will
石庫はこの夜空
obviously not kill, because this is going to be less damage than she did the first 10.
こうかしら
But
羅刹と化すわ
we're getting places.
邪神的に BB 系こっちこっち
She guarded that last time. Hit her again. See what happens. Chicken.
行きましょうぶっ飛ばします任せなさいファイヤー光よこうかしら修羅になるわ私の触手は残忍ですよ
You pierced that invuln. That's not a. Strya really got her nettled all of a sudden.
判決の任せなさい
That's some tunnel vision. I'm glad they didn't finish. Just with the BMNP.
そしてあなたの罪の重さくっとすやるじゃないですか羅刹と化すわ我が主いかがでしたかさあ勝ち時をあげよう
And now, one more little round of fun. And it's on to the endless grind. You can freely do whatever node you have left. That drops what you need.
獲物はすべていただいていきますわよああ腕が鳴りますわ発揮します行きますどうぞ
Also, enjoy your fresh new
よしよし
MP5 4-star
星の
servant, which could very likely be your first. Oh. Unless you've opened the wallet, it's definitely going to be your first MP5 gold unit, unless you've been playing a decent while. So do enjoy the fuzzy feelings that gives you.
判決の時です
Can't help myself. I'll have to see what a Buster Crit does. Yep,
裁定を下しま
that's what it does.
これはあなたの善の軽さそして あなたの罪の重さくっとすやるじゃないですか。よかった。我が主いかがでしたか。さあ勝ち時を上げよ。
And those are much needed. The bloody nightmare to come by until you clear Arc 1 of the story, or get lucky in what events happen to generously want to give away. And here's our 5th and final copy of Jolter. This is always a very lovely feeling. What's this strange order? Unitary here. So you can just make sure you can check out the profile now fully. All that jazz. Also, there are 3 final free quests available now. Technically they were available the entire time the raids were up as well, which you probably noticed. You might have noticed when we were on this node and this node. I don't think there was a raid here. Of course that was there. These actually drop, sort of similar to that final raid, they drop mixed currency. Let's see. Not mixed points, but mixed shop currency. So, Mount Kia, this one, drops these 2 tickets, the Fluffy Bills and the BB Bills. So if you're really wanting to grab a bunch of those, you can head there. Mount Laura drops BB Bills and Kill Bills, and Kilauea drops Fluffy Bills and Gill Bills, and they each drop a different point ladder type as well. Laura drops Imagination, Kia drops Technique, and Kilauea drops Motivation. So we will clear those. And then for the Apple rewards. And then after that, yeah, you're free to pick and choose whatever free quest you want to work on. Of course, our goal is to hit 1 million on both of these ladders. And what's going to take the longest is the event shop. Clearing what we want out of here. Although, at this point, we've gotten most of it. Most of the high priority stuff. Like we want to clear these, the rest of these out. And then these. And these. But then next on the priority are these, which we will just turn into mana prisms. So that's 100 mana prisms for you basically. And a handful of QP, because you get QP when you burn things. And then we will just grab skill gems as we're able. Starting with Lancer, probably. Probably. Of course, it takes 400 of each type to clear out one of these, so you could spend quite a while doing it, but it's fine not to kill yourself on it, because again, the best way to get the skill gems is to really go to town on lottery events, which we have one coming up 2 events from now, so to be on the lookout for that. Now let's take a crack at these free quests. I think I'll do the initial clear of all of them, of each of them once, and then call it a stream after that, and then get back to doing off-stream grinding as necessary. So, first one we'll do is Kia, which drops BB bills and fluffy bills. So this is a very good craft essence for this node, which is probably why Professor has it on her. Okay. This node drops technique points, so we can go all in on shop currency as opposed to worrying about point drops. So BB bills, BB bills. Another BB bill, and then we can go a bit lower with the fluffy bill, and we don't have anything else to add after that. Now let's figure out what party we want to use. Well, first off, we're getting Heracles back in here because he needs that bond. There's no sense in getting rid of these, even though we don't need the point drops at this node, because we're going to need it for other nodes. So we just have to take the time to re-add them to the group, which would be a bit tedious. Now, I think we're good to go. Also, these free quests are roughly the same difficulty. They're pretty much exactly the same difficulty as any other level 90 free quest you've been grinding at this point in this event. Just because they were so late to unlock doesn't make them special in any way, difficulty wise. Oh, these old red golems, ruby golems. I feel like those don't pop up very often. I don't have to focus what any of these craft essences actually do. No, of course, arts cards. Why not? This is always a bit of a bugaboo when they buff their defense like that. Let's give him the old ABQ MP gain combo. It wasn't too impressive MP gain wise, unfortunately. Probably wouldn't have been better just to put the arts card there. Luckily these things will often use a skill and only attack once. Sometimes. Oh, how lovely. I'm gonna say her arts crit will kill whatever's remaining of this thing's health. Good. Calculated. So we've seen the mechanical version of these wild boars, or giant boars, because wild boars are the tiny ones. They look the bloody same, just tiny. So here's the flesh and blood version. Obviously they hit an AoE, like the Hydra enemy you saw on the earlier free quest. We really don't have much in the way of damage this time. We do have RKMP gain though. I would very much like to use her MP on the next wave. Okay. That might have been a mistake. If she ends up... Well, no, she's almost got her MP, and she has a 30% archery. See, I knew that crit would happen. The 10% BM crit. Oh, that was... Well, that wasn't very nice. Well, we have access to both their MPs. Guaranteed. Wait a minute. Do we know this guy? Only my imagination. Like how bloody everything we do gives defense down. Heracles' MP gives defense down. All of Hokusai's arts cards are going to give defense down. It's quite amusing. That's some pretty lovely damage for an AoE MP. Those are good. We need... it's rough because we need to level Heracles' skills, but we also need to level Sidonai's skills, and unfortunately, she takes both Berserker and Caster stuff, which are the two skill gems we need the bloody most. We're going to be in good shape for BB bills, it seems. Oh well. We'll see what the Gotcha does for us when we roll for Mysterious Heroine XX. We're about to hit another 10 threshold, which is good because that means we can save an extra apple, but without me having to sit here and make you wait for us to regen some AP to be efficient. I can kind of get carried away with that stuff, being overly concerned with doing so. Now next we'll do Mount Laurel, which drops Imagination, BB bills and Gil bills. So we need to hook our precious Artoria up with Foxy Lady. Okay. Wait a minute. No. I'm a dumb. I was looking at the wrong one. Or I was thinking about the wrong one. The next one is the Lancer one. What we need is Foxy Lady on Robin. Actually, wait a minute. Which comes up sooner? The banner with BB and Mysterious Heroine and Nora Summer Thought, or Jorfin and Banana Lancer? Where is, let's see, I don't need this page anymore. Oh, bugger. Oh, double bugger. Wait, where's the summoning campaign? There it is. Okay. So, tomorrow, after the daily reset, it will be Banana Lancer rated up solo, whereas for Mysterious for double X we have to wait till the 22nd. Oh, that. So my thinking is, it's kind of the little brain bug I get every time I really contemplate rolling for double X, because I quite like her. Like, her kit's amazing, but she's a foreigner, and that really, really bloody hurts. Like, actually hurts, as opposed to Alter Ego, which I still think is perfectly fine and very useful in a lot of situations. But with foreigner, they're only good against berserkers and other foreigners. Of course, she adds also being good against sabers into the mix, but single target archers, good single target archers, quite literally grow on trees. Even as 3 stars. Like, you're gonna have a really damn good 3-star archer, or single target archer. Whether it's 3-star or a gold one. Also, in the extremely minute chance that a 5-star happened to come by, that's the rate up 5-star. I would much rather it be Jolfin than Summer BB, because well, an AoE archer's very useful, especially an arts one. Oh, it is a difficult decision, but not one that we need to make right now anyway, because neither banner's up. We will get more copies of Hans eventually, probably. Now here's a situation when we do need to go back to point craft essence, at least for now. We can, however, slap, because this one can drop kill bills, so we can at least get extra of those. What are these enemies? I don't think you see these enemies until you get to Embodiment of Remnant, which is Arc 1.5. It's sort of a filler arc in between Arc 1 of the story and then the Lost Spells, which is Arc 2, to hold the player base over with some generally very challenging stuff. Well, I say generally, the Embodiment of Remnants are honestly more difficult than most of the Lost Spells. Which is why it's really unfortunate that there's some very useful Servant buffs locked behind them. This will take this minute. Or, no, I want to do that. Gotta have that MP game. Just the delivery, just kapunk, is very amusing. Probably should have put Heracles' past a second, just to get a little bit of damage on the third one. Oh well, hindsight being what it is. Yeah, we definitely need his MP as soon as we can get it. Ah, here's a Spriggan. You will start seeing these in America. It's when they start appearing, really. But unless you do Saber daily quests, of a high enough rank or level, then they'll start. There'll be rare spawns in those. This is a unit that likes to spam self crit rate and crit damage up buffs, and then just blow everyone up with a single hit each. They do, despite their size, they only hit one at a time. But yeah, that's basically how they work. They like to spam crits, crit up, and then one shot everyone. Quite mean spirited they are. We want the old scar to be lost just for extra. Oh, forgot to switch targets. Oh well. C'est la vie. Okay, can you not? I forgot she could do that. They can put taunt on your units, as you can see. And they lost for 3 bloody turns. Well, bugger. Very well. Are you scrolling over spilt milk? See, this one's being very odd in that he's not spamming creator for some reason. I really don't want to use Robin's MP on this bugger. Okay, taunt. Let's talk about taunt for a moment. So you think, or let's say I casted Marsh's taunt. How would that play out? Well, if the taunt values are the same, because yes, the taunt skills have a value to them. If the value is the same, then it's a coin flip who they target. But obviously, if one of the taunts is a stronger taunt than the other taunt, then the stronger taunt will be who they target. So that's something to keep note of. Some taunts are weak taunts that can be pretty easily bypassed by the enemies if you're not careful. And then others are really stout ones that pretty much lock the target in. It's not something that comes up too much in general play, where you can muck yourself over by not knowing the taunt values, but it is something to keep in mind. Should be something you can find on the wiki pretty easily. I'm really not sure how I want to play this turn. Guess I'll do this. Oh bugger. 2 70% crits. Gone. Reduced to dust. And now we have another turn of protection. Of course, he's going to get his bloody MP and we're getting quite unlucky with base card order, as typical. So there's a good chance Robin Heracles gets it. Well, Heracles isn't. Heracles has his cards, and evade. Oh, Heracles, are you going to kill? Are you going to kill? I'm going to take the chance and say you will. can be responsible and go higher damage by putting the second buster last instead of second. Easy as. Never in doubt. I think I might have had a minor heart attack doing that. Sure, it's fine. Alright, now we're cooking. Now here's the decision. Yeah, this Robin's MP is strong, but it's not quite that broken that using him by himself would have one-shot her. I don't think. Because yeah, even with overcharge, the overcharge would have done it, of course, but without it, not so much. A savage backhand with the crit. Very rude. I'll bust her over time. How are you still alive? That's what we should be saying to her, I guess. 26. Bugger all. He's the one that has a chance of getting his MP back, so I say chance, he's got a couple answer cards. And I think we still have the 10% battery from the Mystic card, don't we? Oh, we do. We don't need it though. But it is there if we did. Congratulations, you're now a tree. So leave. Alright, we level that. I didn't realize we are. We're gonna need those. These are Camelot drops. These start being available in Camelot. Bloody chains. That's not slang either, they're actually bloody chains. Neither Chris is going to need way too bloody many of them. For just an example of a unit you might have. Also, we seem to get quite a bit of points out of that node. Just under 120k more, and we'll be really on our way. And now, Kilauea. Here's the one where we need sweet little Latoria. Now, what do we need to put on her again? This one drops motivation, so we need Water Shine. And one of the Yeah, kill bills and fluffy bills. If we had just a bit more cost, we could actually throw another water shine there for even more gain, but it isn't to be. We want the kill bills anyway. So Nemesis wyverns. Use per battery, get the cooldown rolling. Might as well do this as well. And this. It's all 5-turn cooldown. Might as well get what we can out of it. Shame the Buster didn't crit, but it was, I think, 30%. So, not very good odds. This one though, that's what we like to see. Oh, that isn't. I wanted the arts card. Oh, I know. Hello, Seer Dragon. How do you do? Oh, here's a tip. Keep the art alive, because that's one less attack that the big boss gets. We should have used that on Artoria, but this is probably pretty questionable. And he's okay in B strength. Hopefully that doesn't come into play. Hopefully. I'm gonna do this because if he starts AoE critting, or Heracles could go the way of the dodo very shortly. I mean, if okay. We buff in this house. That's what we do. Do you even lift? Can't even buy a bloody crit. Oi! It wasn't the kind of crit I was talking about. Smart ass. Well, the good news is I think we can, well, we can kill the big one at the very least. Should be able to kill that one before. I'm going to do this just in case. Alright, now we get a crit. Well, okay then. Artoria just got tired of everything. I'm sick of this battle. I want to move on. I got you. So Najar, not sure if I've talked about Najar before. Najar was actually the very first gold unit that wasn't a starter unit that I ever acquired. She was a spook, amusingly enough, so she wasn't the raid up 4-star. But here she came, and like 2 rolls after, here came Nightingale. So that was my first 4 and my first 5-star, both of which were spooks. She's an AoE Buster Lancer with actually quite a bit of self buffs. She's got some hard survival in just a moment, I have to untangle my tongue. She gives herself a 20% quick buster up and crit, and a 30% crit damage up, all for 3 turns. She has a 20% MP battery that also gives her guts that lasts 5 turns. The guts does on a 7-turn cooldown. And then she has a self debuff cleanse that also gives her star absorb for a turn. And her MP is AoE Buster, gives 5 turns of 1000 damage buff, and will juice up her MP damage at base 20% before attacking. And before too awful long, she finally gets an upgrade to her MP to where, well, it just does more base damage, and the burn does triple the damage it used to. So now it's 3000 damage a turn instead of 1000. Which, so she's quite a solid unit. No hard survival, but she's got some soft with the guts. And if they have Invul and Pierce, so sure hit, that's actually better in the long run, since it actually has an effect. I think I just want to do this. Yeah. So yeah, right now, the damage up she gives herself is only to make up for the fact that she doesn't have an upgraded MP. But it actually is respectable damage-wise once her MP upgrade comes. Bugger. That wasn't very nice. We never did get you in. Wait. No, never did. Don't suppose. No. Yeah, we can pop the guts. I hope we can pop the guts with this bloody buster crit here. We'll give it all the chance we possibly can have. You're joking. Artoria, come on. Mordred would have popped it with the buster crit. Mordred has higher base attack than Artoria does, so her face guards do inherently more damage. And that was our final free quest of this event. I'm pretty sure. So now, the world's your oyster, so to speak, and you can freely do whatever free quests that strikes your fancy. We're clearly going to focus on getting both of these point ladders on up to 1 million, which thankfully won't take very long. Unlike well, we got half of the remaining. We've cut that number in half. That didn't take too long, did it? I've never understood why the embers go to your present box instead of... Well, I guess it makes sense. Because one thing you'll learn once you get your feet under you and you actually get you a handful of units fully leveled, there will come a time where you won't be using embers, because hopefully you'll be saving up for a banner you really like, as opposed to just rolling willy-nilly like some people do, and then turn around and complain when they don't get what they want, when a banner they actually really want comes along. But you don't understand. I spent 90 quartz. 90 quartz, did you? 3 10 rolls. And they wanted the rate up 5-star. It's like, okay. Ludicrous. Grab us yet another fodder CE. We'll just use for leveling. Little bullet. And here should be this becomes available your first day 7 after completing all the raids. This is the final epilogue for the story, where you will be rewarded your second Holy Grail. If this is your first run. If it's your second, then you'll get another crystallized lore instead. You also get the costume outfits for Summer BB. Which basically whether you wanted to have a summer tan or not on particular ascensions, or what those are. And I don't think we have summon available. So, I think that'll just about do it for this event. After this, it's just more classic RPG grinding. We'll just get our remaining 2-point ladders to 1 million. Clear out the rest of the embers. And these and these And start. We'll continue picking away at these as we go. And that about does it. Now, with one exception, there's actually one last thing, even after getting 1 million with the ladders, to do to fully complete the event, and that is the challenge quest. However, challenge quests only are available. It doesn't matter what the event is locked behind. This event, as long as you've cleared the tutorial Singularity for Yuki, then this event is available to you, which is why we're able to do it. However, the challenge quest is special. It's irrelevant what the event is locked behind. The challenge quest is always locked behind completion of Arc 1 of the story. So it won't even pop up for you if you haven't beaten Arc 1 of the story. And the reward for them is always a crystallized lore. Pretty much every time. There may be rare exceptions, but generally that's what it is. Another crystallized lore. So yeah, there's no real way I can, unfortunately there's no way I can go over the challenge quest on this account for any challenge quests for events for a while on this account, because even if we cleared Solomon, so right now we could go find a mate that has a Heracles that's already got his Bond C, unlike mine. Rip. And pretty much solo everything remaining in Arc 1 easily, with the exception of like 3 fights in Babylonia. But that's not going to help our account be any stronger, unfortunately. And Heracles generally can't solo every challenge quest. He can do some of them, to be fair. He can. But necessarily not all of them. And this isn't one he can do. There's just too much effective HP to get through for his survival limit, we'll say. So essentially, even if we had access to it, this account would not be able to complete it anyway without cheating and using command spells. Alright, I suppose I should explain command spells. So you get 3, and they recharge 1 per day every not daily reset, but when the daily quests reset. So not the login reset, but when your daily quests, or the available dailies, reset, you will get your regen one of the 3 command spells, up to the limit of 3. And you can use them to either instantly charge 1 servant's MP to 100%, fully heal a servant. Both of those only cost 1. However, the big one, and the one that most people would end up using, is this one that will fully revive your entire party when they've been wiped, and give every single member, all 6 of them, their MP, full MP gauge. Now, it's ultimately up to you how you want to use these things, but personally, I don't use them, if at all possible. Then after that, there's Saint Quartz revives that you spend 1 Saint Quartz to do the same thing this one does. So theoretically, you can just keep brute forcing everything like that if you if you're willing to open up your wallet, have an unlimited supply of Saint Quartz. It's very much not recommended to do it that way. It's much more fun to actually try to learn the game mechanics and be creative with your party. At the end of the day, it's your game, your gameplay. So whatever floats your boat. Alright, I think that'll do it for this stream. So, not sure. Well, we can hop back on if I end up rolling for MHXX or Banana Lancer in a couple days. I suppose, you know, that's an obvious thing to stream. But besides that, the only thing to do is continue cleaning up these point ladders and clearing out the shop. So that's what I'm going to be working on. Of course, I also need to do this on my main. Alright. That's the end of this one, so hope you enjoyed, and see you next time.